So good to see you online, Satish. I'm glad that systems work. I'll start with Brian.
Yes, and
Welcome.
pleasure to be with you.
Pleasure. I hope you had the chance to hear the previous panelists because they were quite amazing.
Yes, I have heard the whole thing, and I listened to Francisco, and I listened to all your three panelists, and you are organizing and facilitating it very well.
I'm doing my best. But let's start maybe with you, Brian. So given your own background and history, why are you here today? Why do you want to make a difference? You've done everything right according to the usual standards, but you still want to make more.
Yeah, thank you, François, and thanks everyone for being here, and thanks in particular to Francisco for catalyzing such a wonderful session. Yeah, I'm a physics professor, have been for many years, and I was then a president of a university for 10 years from 2010 to 2020. Then I was put in charge of the vaccination program for COVID in Ireland for the whole country. And then from last year, I'm now an advisor to Arizona State University, a university that I had developed a very close relationship with, but mainly because of their fantastic commitment to making a real difference in the area of sustainability and climate action. So why am I here? I'm here as a scientist, I'm here as a university leader, I'm here as a grandparent. We had our first grandchild last year. She's 1 year old last week, and I think 2023, if you look 2030, she'll be 8 years old, 2040, she'll be 18. What's she facing into? And I didn't realize the impact that would have on me. So the combination of all of those three means I want to spend the rest of my life doing as much as I can in terms of tackling the challenges ahead of us. And we heard in the last session really about the transformative power of education right across the continuum from early stage through primary, secondary, and now into third level, and the particular role that teachers have to play in that regard.
You want to be a good ancestors, which is very good news. I think all of us would like to learn how to do this. I think, Satish, you've done your share of trying to become a good ancestor as well, and I will be very happy to hear your own vision, because to some extent, Brian is trying to change university from inside. You decided to create a different model.
Yes, I am founder of Schumacher College, which is in England, Devon. And Schumacher College was established in 1991 because we felt that our education system ignores nature or uses nature only as a resource for the economy. And our educational system sees nature separate from humans. Nature out there, the mountains, the forests, the rivers, the animals, the birds, and the seas and oceans are nature. And we humans are not nature. We humans are separate from nature. And not only we are separate from nature, we are above nature, superior to nature. And so we can do to nature what we like. We can use nature only as a resource for the economy, for making production, consumption, making profit, money. And this is a university system. And universities look at the young people and see as if young people have no body. They have no heart, no hands, no legs, only brain, only head, and half brain, because we have two hemispheres of the brain, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. Our educational system of the universities only teach the left hemisphere of the brain. So Schumacher College was established to challenge that. And we established Schumacher College to have an education of head, education of heart, and education of hands. Whole body education. Both brain, left hemisphere of the brain and the right hemisphere of the brain. We need to educate both. And nature and humans are one. We are nature. Nature is not separate from us. And we are not above nature. We are not superior to nature. We are nature. And therefore, we need to live with nature in harmony. And look after nature. The cyclical nature of nature and human activity should be the same. So this is the purpose of Schumacher College, to challenge the university education system.
Fantastic. I saw Francisco that was echoing completely to what you just said. So it's nice to see that wisdom at every age resonates deeply in this session. I think that to have had the privilege to discuss with Michael Crow, that is the president of Arizona State University, I think would have agreed with you, Satish, on many dimensions. He says basically, higher education believes they are part of the solution, and Michael says, no, they are part of the problem. Because they've separated disciplines and bodies and nature, and to some extent it goes back very long, certainly to Descartes for the French responsibility into this, but already in the Athenian city, the city walls were separated the humans from nature, and the insiders from the outsiders. So the citizenship has not been an inclusive notion, it's not been an ecological notion, it's not been a holistic notion. And I think we need to reinvent this. And actually we have to reinvent a big part of the Enlightenment. I think Gandhi was saying, when he was asked about Western civilization, he answered, that would be a good idea. Which is an interesting way of looking at what we've done. And so, how can we redesign this? Do you want to take that challenge?
Yes, indeed. I mean, that's why I'm here. The question is often asked, what are universities for? And while they're complex institutions, it really comes down to two things. One is they have the responsibility to create and disseminate knowledge. And secondly, they have the responsibility to foster the development of ethical, informed, educated people who can bring value to society. Okay, that's generic. But faced with the existential crisis that faces us, faced with the catastrophe that's potentially ahead of us, universities have a pivotal role to play in all of this. And they have to realign, redesign their focus, their purpose, their mission on this. And in terms of empowering and educating future change makers and leaders like Francisco, creating knowledge to tackle the problems that face us, acting as exemplary institutions that foster change in society, because people will follow what universities do, thought leadership that will influence governments and policy development. All of those things are part of what universities need to do, all targeted on tackling the major challenges ahead of us. I mean, the biggest privilege one has in a university is to engage with young people and to be part of their formative education. And young people are ahead of us, as we're seeing here, in their thinking about this. And that's why, if you take curricula, need to change, to embrace all of this awareness and to empower the young people to have the knowledge that enable them to tackle the issues, to change society around them.
Thank you so much. Talking about redesigning curricula with young people, I think there is an interesting perspective that we were discussing with Francisco yesterday. The Friday for the Future movement shows that, the youth want a change, quite clearly. But when you talk to these young activists, you say, I love what you do on Fridays, but what do you do for the rest of the week? What about a university that will foster their agency and their ability to make a difference to the world the whole week, rather than, they have to choose between, being an activist or being a student that behaves in the classical curricula? I don't know which of the two of you want to react to this first. Satish, do you want to give it a try?
Yes, I will be happy to. I think Fridays for the Future is a very good start. But our universities are too entrenched in the traditional economic model. Our university educations are egocentric. Personal success, getting good job, big money, prestige, power, control, all that. And we need to change this egocentric education to eco-centric education. You have to change from G to C, from ego to eco. When our Fridays for the Future movement and Greta Thunberg and all the other hundreds of thousands of people all around the world marching, I think they are asking for an eco-centric education and not ego-centric education. That is their demand. And one day a week, it's a good start because they, after all, they have to go to school and university because they can't do. But I would like to see universities changing because of this Fridays for the Future movement and demand from the young people. And every university should have a farm and a garden where young people can learn to grow food and use their body and look after nature, plant trees, plant gardens, and learn how we can have a cyclical economy. At the moment, our economy is not economy, it's a money-nomy. We call it economy, but it's a management of money and not management of the ecosystem. And so an economy and ecology should go together. Without ecology means knowledge of planet and ecosystem. And economy means management of the planet and ecosystem. At the moment, we don't teach our children what is ecosystem and how are they going to manage what they don't know. And so ecology and economy must go together. And it should be practiced. So I would like to see every university, every school, every college having a garden, having a farm, having some work where children can learn skills. And also love is very important. At the moment, we see nature as an inanimate object to manipulate. I want to have seeing nature as a living organism, Gaia, living organism, deep ecology, living organism, and love for nature. That's a heart quality. Without that transformation of universities, universities are part of the problem. They are not part of the solution. They are causing climate change. Highly educated people from Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, Yale, these are the people who are causing climate change. They are culprits of our problems. They are part of the problem. And I think we have to abolish this kind of egocentric education and make ecocentric universities. And that's the demand of the Fridays for the Future and Greta Thunberg. She mentions no words. She says all these universities are blah, blah, blah. And I think we have to listen to her.
Follow that. Let's say I don't agree with everything that Satish has said. I agree with some of it. Change is required. But let me tell you what we're actually doing. And we're not blah-blahing. We're actually doing something about it. So the University Design Institute that I work with at ASU is working closely with François and his team, the Learning Planet Institute here. And we're developing solutions for universities around the world. So I would disagree with you, Satish, in your characterization of the system, because the university leaders we talk to in the global north and the global south all want to do something, but many don't know how. So the work we are doing with Learning Planet Institute is to develop solutions that are place sensitive, that are culturally sensitive, that give them a pathway and a trajectory. Much of that is around what you talked about, the curriculum itself, and how you sensibly infuse sustainability awareness, ecology awareness into all disciplines right across the curriculum. It's not easy. Mind you, I picked up some very good ideas here and talking to Kate Raworth about around the donut economics, which you could very easily infuse in right across, and principles of climate justice as well. I met with Sully Test here as well, who are developing assessments for students to see what is their climate and ecological awareness in a way that you can benchmark and measure and so on. So there's lots to do, and that's just about curriculum. Across research and innovation, across thought leadership, across student empowerment and engagement, many things to do. But we are coming up with the solutions. You can't just say do away with the university system. You have to provide the system with solutions that allow it to transform itself, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, the dilemma between revolution and evolution. As a French evolutionist, I'm quite familiar with the two concepts, and I like to see the two sides of the same coin. And it's true that, you know, it's tempting to create something radically different, but it's also very useful to transform the existing, which is the dominating force as we speak. I want to go back maybe to etymology. Because, you know, you made a nice point. Ecology and economy come from eco, which comes from oikos. And oikos was the Greek for the house and the community that live in the house and the home. But historically, the paterfamilias, the father of the house, had all the power there. Okay, the wife had very little power, if any. The children, even less. Not to talk about the slave or of the animals and the living beings that were living in that home. So, if we take that historical glance, clearly the Greek inspired the Enlightenment that inspired today, but we've reinvented several times the same concept of democracy, citizenship, science, philosophy, art, and culture in the Western world. But you have an Eastern perspective on these things, and that's why I'll be happy to hear the way you propose a more holistic perspective than the one that we have separated in silos in many different disciplines and many different universities.
Yes, I think the ethos, Greek word home, in the wisdom of the Greek philosophers, home is not only where you have your bedroom, bathroom, and living room. Home is our whole planet Earth. Ecosystem is the whole planet Earth. So our planet Earth is our home. And the birds flying in the sky are our brothers and sisters. The animals in the forest are our brothers and sisters. We have all come from nature. At the time of the Big Bang, there were no human beings. So all natural world is our ancestors. We have all come from nature. And therefore, ethos, the Greek word oikos or ecos, is the whole planet is our home, and all members of the species of every kind are all our members of one family. And that is the Eastern and Western coming together. And in Eastern philosophy, and Indian philosophy, and Taoist philosophy, we say entire cosmos is my country. Not only France is my country, or England is my country, or India is my country, or China is my country, but the whole cosmos is my country. That cosmic mind, the magnanimous mind, is ecology. And then we say planet is our home. In Indian philosophy, we say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole planet is my family and my home. And then we say the nature is my nationality. I'm not just an Indian. I'm a natural being. Nature means, you said about etymology, nature means birth, natal, native, nation. They all come from the birth. So place of birth is native. And so nature is my nationality. And love is my religion. I'm not a Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, Jew. I'm a human being with love in my heart. And all the other religions come later. So religion is my love. That's the Eastern philosophy. Cosmos is my country. Planet is my home. Nature is my nationality. And love is my religion. In that context, ecology is a very beautiful word. And economy is a very beautiful word. But we have mistreated these two words, particularly economy. What means moneynomy? We manage money and we call it economy. The economy is not economy. It's a complete misuse of the word. Economy means management of the whole planet Earth, and whole planet is our home, and all species are our brothers and sisters. We are all interrelated, we are all interconnected, and we cannot destroy, we cannot pollute ocean with plastic if the ocean is our home. And we cannot create global warming if the whole planet is our home. So Western societies have seen nature only as a resource for making money, nothing else. They see nature nothing other than making money, profit, means to an end. The end goal is making more money, more profit, more production, more consumption. That has to change. And universities are part of that problem. All the great universities are producing people who are going to exploit nature. Our British scientists say, go out and steal the secrets of nature. That's what universities are teaching. So universities are entirely part of the problem. And they have to really revolutionize the educational system. Evolution is too slow. We need love revolution. We need eco-revolution now.
Thank you, Satish, for your forceful words. Brian, you'll have the last word.
So many answers, so little time. I agree again with some of what you say. I think in the broad spectrum of universities that are out there, some want to go the full distance to become what you might call ecological universities, and that term is out there, but not all will. And I think what's important is that we need to respond to the reality.
They should. They will not, but they should. Unless they should, they are part of the problem.
You may be right, Satish, but they won't. And I think we have to face the reality of making change urgently over the next decade.
But then I want you to challenge them. You can't say, we won't, so we give up. No, challenge them. You are the professor there. Why are you just sitting there not challenging them?
Yeah,
say, stop what you are doing. Producing
one could spend a lot of energy.
And creating global warming. Change as soon as you can.
So, yeah, I was supposed to be a moderator, so I might endorse that role, but it's Brian.
You will not be getting your check at the end of it. Okay, final sentence. Our time is up, but let me say, from my perspective and the response we're getting from universities, we need to enable universities to empower the next generation of change makers and leaders in the way you're talking about, Satish. They need to influence governments by evidence-based policy making and influence society by their own behavior. They need to create knowledge in the areas where we're facing the technological challenges, which they can do. And they need to drive innovation at a scale and a speed that allows us to tackle the impending disaster that's facing us. So speed and scale and urgency are the key developments. We don't have time to do this massive change of the system itself. We need to change from within and provide universities with the tools to tackle these problems. And as I say, most of the universities we encounter are very, very enthusiastic about doing this, but they need the assistance in enabling them to do it. But ultimately, it's about the students. And the biggest lesson I learned as a university president was students coming through are now choosing their careers not based on salaries or money, but based on values. And students will start to choose universities based on their ecological values and based on their commitment to true climate change and climate action. And I think they have the power to make that change by their choices. But I think that's what we will start to see as the system changes from within.
Thank you so much to both of you. I think we've been over time by 1 minute, so I will stop the conversation here, unfortunately. I think it could go on for ages. And Satish, feel welcome to come to Paris. We'll be happy to discuss this further. Thank you so much to both of you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
Bye, Brian. Thank you.
Thank you.